Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the AstoundCast, episode 42. And yes, that is the episode number this time.
Haha, the meaning of life is supposed to be in this episode. It ain't gonna happen.
Oh, God, no. And that's exactly what I'm just going to title that. That's what I'm going to make the title of the episode.
Do it.
If my thumbs would work.
At least one thumb should be working.
Well, let's hope they do. So, let's start this one off. How's your week been?
Last week of term, so it's been alright actually. Currently
Oh, yeah, of
back at home.
course. Wow. But that feels weird.
Sleeping in my own bed, yeah, it kind of felt weird, but at the same time, it was quite nice to know that I'm back in a place where I'm very familiar with where everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely get that.
How's yours been then?
Not too bad, to be honest with you. Been a bit of a busy week in work, to be honest. Although, thankfully, I'm only doing 2 days in work this week, and then I'm off for like a week and a half.
Yay!
So thank God for that. I have just realised, well, I need to make some minor adjustments to my new microphone arm. Which I'm probably going to do at some point tonight, ready for tomorrow. But other than that, week's been pretty good. Been a bit chaotic, to be honest with you. Probably going to talk to you about that after the stream.
Understandable.
But yeah, it's been a fairly decent week, to be honest. Not too bad, really. Anyway, shall we move on to the motorsport section?
We shall indeed.
Wow. Well, this week was the third round of the F1 Championship in Australia. And as I said, it was an early race. Like, really, really early. The race started at 6 o'clock this morning. Yeah, I ended up missing the first 20 laps because I came down at 6:30.
Damn.
And I'd only missed one thing. And that was poor old Carlos Sainz spinning out.
Is that all?
Yeah. Up to that point, yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
And unfortunately, that was his race over. He hasn't had the best weekend, honestly. His practice was less than desirable. His qualifying was even worse. And the race, well, lasted literally a lap and a half. So hopefully he can shake that before they go off to, Italy in a couple of weeks.
I mean, they've got a couple of weeks to, make that back up, so it's not the worst.
Yeah, it's just they really need that fixing by Italy, because, literal home of Ferrari.
They'll do it, maybe.
Yeah. What the? And then the race kind of just ended up going a bit boring for quite a while longer. And then, we had another crash.
Oh, jeez.
This time it was the returning from COVID Sebastian Vettel, whose weekend has also been a bit less than desirable.
Okay, so their luck's been terrible then.
Yeah. He didn't do too well in practice. He ended up getting a €5,000 fine yesterday because he decided to go on his scooter around the track during a red flag.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and the car overall has just been an absolute wreck.
Jeez.
Yeah, like, those Mercedes-powered cars this year, they're in trouble. Like, they've really got something wrong.
Yeah.
And then, just to cap it all off towards the end of the race, we had another engine failure.
Another one?
Yeah, another one. And this time, it was, once again, reigning world champion Max Verstappen.
Oh, geez, poor guy.
Yeah, his engine was overheating, and then he just had to turn it off because he smelled some weird fluid. Which does not sound good. That does not sound like a good thing.
That never sounds like a good thing.
No, but, pardon the pun, that was a bit of a silver lining with Max Verstappen DNFing.
Yeah.
George Russell had his first podium.
Damn.
He got his first ever podium in Formula One, which made me a very happy man. In the end, the podium was Charles Leclerc won the race. Surprise, surprise. Sergio Perez, which made it his second podium, and his third, and George Russell had his first.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Lewis Hamilton, he was in fourth, so he just missed on the podium.
Damn.
However, there's a very good reason for that. Towards the end of the race, he was going to try do an overtake move on George Russell. Unfortunately for Lewis, his engine was starting to overheat as well.
Eek.
So he had to abandon that attempt, or he'd have gone the way of Max Verstappen.
Yeah, that doesn't feel too good.
But I'm going to move away from the negativity to talk about possibly the story of the weekend. And that is Alex Albon, who, just because he could, run the entire race, except for the last lap, on one set of tyres. Literally, he lasted until lap 57 of 58 on one set of hard tyres.
Oh, gee. Good on him, but seriously, wow.
Yeah, and also he ended up having a grid penalty yesterday because they couldn't extract the 1 litre of fuel sample from the car, so he was put down to the back of the grid. He then ended up fighting his way up to 9th, so he managed to get his first points for Williams.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a double win for him. Lasting pretty much an entire race on one set of tyres and getting into the points from the back. That seems like a pretty good weekend in the office, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But there is one... Yeah, but there's one thing I'm starting to notice, and my mum's noticing it too. Carlos Sainz. I don't think he's very happy at Ferrari.
Yeah. How come?
Look, well, Leclerc's the poster boy.
Yeah.
Like, when Kimi Raikkonen left the team in 2018, they brought in Leclerc to replace him. And despite there being a 4-time world champion in the team, in Sebastian Vettel, they put all their eggs into a Charles Leclerc-shaped basket.
Yeah.
And basically shoved Seb aside. And I think the same thing is beginning to happen to Carlos.
Oh, no.
And obviously, you don't join a team to become the second driver.
No.
You come there to make yourself the first. Like, George Russell hasn't come in to, be like Lewis's wingman.
He's come in to just be, better.
He's come in to make Lewis his wingman. Which so far is working, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Wow.
Well, at least you know your logic is getting somewhere.
Yeah, so and I think because Carlos Sainz, racing's in his blood. His dad is a Dakar rally driver, and he used to do the normal World Rally Championship back in the 80s and 90s. Apparently very good at it. But I think that's what Carlos is starting to realise. Because last year, not going to lie, he absolutely ruined Leclerc. He completely slapped him up. he would convincingly beat him pretty much every weekend. And now, only 3 races into the season, I'm noticing they're already prioritising Leclerc. Yeah. So, what I think could happen is, now here's what I think is going to happen. Well, the McLaren this year, it's been a bit of a nightmare so far. Granted, it had a fantastic weekend this weekend, so well done to the boys at Woking. But I think that Daniel Ricciardo, being on the older end of the F1 drivers, could potentially retire this year, which would leave a space open at McLaren. And you know who I think is going to be prime target to take that seat?
Who?
Carlos Sainz. Because that used to be his seat.
Okay, yeah, that seems about right.
Like, Daniel directly replaced Carlos because he went off to Ferrari last year. But I think if Daniel leaves McLaren and leaves F1 as a whole, I think that Carlos will take that seat back. Because him and Lando are like... they're brothers, him and Lando. He loves the team. He knows the team. And he'd know the guys that he's working with because they haven't actually changed anyone since Carlos left. So I think that should Daniel Ricciardo retire at the end of the season, which possible. Like, I think I talked about this last week, my top 3 drivers for leaving this season.
Yeah, you did.
But I didn't mention Daniel because I kind of forgot that he was kind of, still very much in the older category. And with the car not being the best this year, I think he could potentially retire. And that would leave an open gap ready for Carlos to jump straight back into.
Honestly, that does seem pretty plausible.
Yeah, because Ferrari's always had a certain pressure with them. If you are not the first driver immediately, you're never gonna be.
Yeah.
It's like, hell, even when Michael Schumacher joined the team back in the late 90s, Eddie Irvine was very much the top driver until he left. And then Michael kind of had to be prioritised because, he was the best they had. And then when Rubens Barrichello came along, he was pretty much slapped into second driver position immediately.
Yeah.
Even though at that point, Michael Schumacher hadn't won pretty much anything with Ferrari, they still put Rubens Barrichello into that second driver position. And Ferrari never gave him the opportunity to take the first driver position. Michael always had to do it himself. So I think Carlos is probably going to be as sad as it seems, a new Barrichello. And I do not want that to happen because Carlos is frankly amazing. He's got racing in his blood. He's been in F1 longer than Leclerc, might I add. So I think if Ricciardo does end up retiring end of the season, I think Carlos will return to McLaren. That's my guess anyway.
I mean, that's a pretty plausible guess, if I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I can see when him and Charles are in interviews after races, you can see that Carlos is seething. You can see his blood physically boiling from the inside.
Yeah, that's not healthy for him.
No, because, to give an example of how bad Ferrari are with this, it was actually 2005 in, I want to say, where was it? Belgium, in Spa. There was 10 races left in the season, yeah?
Yeah.
Barrichello was leading, with Schumacher in second. Jean Todt, Ferrari team principal at the time, asked Barrichello to let Michael Schumacher pass for the championship with 10 races to go.
Damn.
No. And then in the end, Michael Schumacher went on to lose that championship anyway because of Fernando Alonso.
I mean, can't. That's just.
So not only was that call made way too soon, it didn't work anyway. And to prove what I mean by Michael Schumacher had to do it himself, when it came to the podium for that race, he swapped places with him.
Oh.
He said to Rubens, no, you here, I, me there. That he swapped them around.
Oh, wait, yeah, I remember when that happened, I think.
Yeah, and granted, that did land Ferrari a bit of a fine, but Schumacher really didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, he literally pulled Barrichello onto the top step, and he got onto the second one.
Damn.
Yeah, and then, actually, the year before in Indianapolis, Schumacher tried to go across the line at the same time as Barrichello, but he said in the interview, unfortunately, it didn't quite work. Yeah, sure, Michael. Sure, it didn't work at all. He was totally planning to let him win that one.
Probably.
But yeah, I'm just really hoping. I'm really hoping Carlos gets himself out of that team before he becomes the new Barrichello.
Hope so.
Because honestly, Barrichello did get wasted in that team big time. He could have been. I think he could have actually been a world champion.
You think?
Quite. Yeah, he had the talent. He just needed Ferrari to stop interfering.
Yeah, that seems about right.
And I can very much see the same. I could see the same happening very soon to Carlos. And I really, really don't want it to. Because as you know from last season, I don't rate Leclerc that highly.
No.
Granted, he has won two of the first three races of the season. Great work, but he crashed more times last year than Mazepin.
Ah.
Yeah. Like, Like, and that man's nickname was literally Nikita Crashapin.
Eek.
Yeah. Granted, Charles Leclerc did get the nickname Charles Lecrash, so.
I mean, there's always a silver lining.
Yeah, but again, Carlos destroyed him last year, so what Ferrari think they're doing this year, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, they've pretty much prioritized Charles from the get-go, which isn't that fair, really. Like, even Mercedes haven't started to prioritize George over Lewis. Like, they've still got them on a level playing field.
Yeah.
So, like, should Lewis want to pass George or George want to pass Lewis, they're not going to stop them. Obviously, when one's ahead in the championship further on in the year, then they might intervene. But Ferrari, I think they're going to start pretty soon if they haven't already.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was best described in Rush, the Formula One film based on Niki Lauda and James Hunt.
Yeah.
And it was actually a line from Clay Ragazzoni, Lauda's old teammate. Ferrari love you while you're doing good, but the second you screw up, you're out. And that's... Yeah. Yeah. I do not want to see that happen to Carlos.
No, doesn't deserve that.
No way. Again, considering that, he's been in F1 like 3-4 years longer than Charles Leclerc has.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But, yeah, so a pretty boring race overall this weekend. Except for obviously the DNFs that came in pretty thick and fast towards the end. Yeah. But honestly, it wasn't worth getting up at 6:30.
Ironically, I was up at 6 o'clock, but that was because my cat.
Oh, so you'd have been able to catch the whole thing.
Yeah, if I was that bothered and wasn't too tired
Yeah,
from traveling.
that's fair. But yeah, it was decent, but it wasn't half 6 in the morning decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this week's motorsport section because IndyCar and NASCAR news, I'm not hearing much about it lately. Like, I'm sure there's stuff going on, but it seems to have disappeared off of all my radars for some reason.
That's a strange one.
I know. It's just kind of disappeared from all of my social media feeds and everything. So I'm like, well, that's not good.
Doesn't seem too good.
No. So I'm afraid that's going to have to do it for this week's Formula One section, I suppose. The next race is going to be in 2 weeks' time in Imola, which I always dread because of who we lost there back in 1994. Rest in peace, Senna. Yeah, so that race will be on in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, I'll see you all again with that then. But now we have the rest of the stream to get on with because, as we know, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga came out this week, and
yeah.
wow. And as promised in my thoughts on the prequels, I've got my thoughts on the original trilogy in the game.
Oh.
Because I completed them, oh god, yesterday. Yeah. Right. I should also say now that I'm almost halfway through The Last Jedi. So I'll probably finish The Rise of Skywalker tomorrow. Anyway, original trilogy. Much like the prequels, very much rushed, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was a lot of stuff that they skipped out throughout, well, actually, through all of them. It's kind of hard to describe it. Like, they got all the stuff in, they just did it all very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, you met Obi-Wan, and then literally 20 seconds later, you were getting Anakin's lightsaber, then going off to Mos Eisley Cantina to meet Han Solo.
Oh.
Which in the film took like 10 or 15 minutes to get through all of that. And then within about 5 minutes of that, you're already on your way to the Death Star.
Well, in fairness for the games,
yeah,
they would have to get through that stuff quicker due to them wanting people to experience gameplay.
I was gonna mention that because of how much they've had to put into this game. I can't say I'm surprised they've rushed through so much stuff because they've got 9 films worth of game to put in here. It's like,
yeah,
I can understand it. Like, I'm not making that as a slight against the game. I'm just saying that, if you're expecting the full thing, don't. But yeah, no, I can definitely understand why they've rushed through some stuff. But overall, the gameplay was amazing on A New Hope. Destroying the Death Star was so much fun. Oh my god. I'm just a bit gutted that you couldn't actually do the Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader boss fight.
Oh, really?
I was kind of gutted about that. Granted, it wasn't a thing in the original game, but I thought that they could have done it in this one. But sadly, they elected not to, which, okay, fair enough. There was already a fair few boss fights throughout the game, to be honest, so I can understand it. In fact, I think so far, A New Hope is the only one that hasn't had a boss fight.
I guess with how they wanted to do it, they wanted to make it into a remake versus it being an entirely separate entity.
Yeah, because, well, to be fair, if they had done that boss fight, you'd have had a boss fight with Darth Vader 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I'm looking at it like that, I can understand. Because they did one in Empire Strikes Back, obviously, and again in Return of the Jedi. quite obviously. So, yeah, I can understand why they didn't want a third one. Makes sense.
Makes more sense to me.
Yeah. But moving on to Empire Strikes Back, well, they kind of, again, pretty much skipped the whole beginning of the film with the Empire sending the probe droids down to Hoth.
Yeah.
Like, they skipped that bit completely. Which, okay, sure. Like, they didn't even put it in as a cutscene, they just cut it out. Which I thought was a very strange choice. As for the rest, like, I think this one was the most complete.
Yeah.
Like, out of all of them, they kept the most of this film in. Because, again, it's The Empire Strikes Back. It's literally the most iconic out of all of them because of the big revelation at the end, which they did completely faithfully. I will give them this. That whole fight between Luke and Vader was done to literal perfection. I cannot fault them on that at all.
Well, at least I did something right.
Yeah. The only thing that I would say was a bit wrong with Empire Strikes Back was they kind of changed a few events around, like, when you arrive on Cloud City as Luke in the game, Lando, Leia, and Chewie are already on the Falcon leaving the city. Whereas in the film, when Luke was fighting Vader, Lando, Leia, and Chewie were still on the planet getting to the Falcon. So they changed that one slightly, which I kind of understand. Because actually it would have made more sense, timeline-wise, for when Luke fell down the trash compactor, I guess, to the bottom of the city, for the Falcon to be there ready to catch him. So I actually understand that change. So, yeah, like, I can excuse that one. Return of the Jedi, though. Like, what they did with this one was, granted, this film, it's a long one. Like, Return of the Jedi, that opening sequence on Tatooine is about an hour.
Yeah.
But they condensed it, I think, into around 20 minutes to about half an hour. Again, which I can understand, and I will give them this, they didn't actually cut anything out. They just condensed it massively. So, massive respect to them to being able to do that. Yeah, I think out of all the trilogies so far, the originals are the ones I have the least faults with.
That's always good.
Because they didn't cut anything out. Except for the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, but they've just condensed most of it down. Which, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I think out of all the originals, my favorite would have to be A New Hope.
Yeah.
Oh, but there is one thing that really did annoy me about Return of the Jedi, which I've forgotten about till now.
Oh?
They didn't let you destroy the second Death Star.
Oh, no.
That was a cutscene.
Damn it.
And that broke my heart for two reasons.
You wanted to destroy Death Star?
Yeah, one, you'd be able to fly into the Death Star and blow it up from the inside. The other thing is that the Death Star 2 is a playable vehicle in the game.
Oh.
Oh yeah, by the way, you can actually fly around in both of the Death Stars.
Nice.
Yep, I'm definitely trying that one out at some point and seeing what the super lasers can actually do. I'm hoping it's not a you fight this character as a boss versus when you unlock them. I really hope it's not one of those situations, because I want to just destroy the whole galaxy.
Totally not concerning, no.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it's just not one of the cases of when you fight them as a boss, versus when you unlock them. I really hope that's not what they've done to them. But in fairness, it probably is.
Yeah.
Like, they can't let you destroy the game.
Well, they can, it's just not fair.
And it would not be a good idea.
No.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a case of when you fight them as a boss versus when you unlock them as a character. Yep. Ah, well.
No.
But as I said a few minutes ago, I'm currently about halfway through the sequels, about midway through The Last Jedi, so I've just got half of Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker complete. Probably going to do those tomorrow, so you can expect a video. Well, I don't know what to do with this one. I don't know whether to delay the AskCast news by a day or do it normally.
I would say, me personally, I would say delay it by a day.
Okay. I mean, I'll record them both tomorrow, So I'll record them both tomorrow, but I'm going to switch them around.
That's fine.
So, yeah, AskCast news will be coming out on Wednesday this week, with the sequels video coming out on Tuesday.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah, as that would be actually the week anniversary of the game.
Yeah, no, that'll be perfect then.
Yeah. And what I might do as well is, when I've done talk about the sequels, I might talk about the game as a whole.
Yeah, actually, that would be a good idea, just to cover your bases.
Yeah. But yeah, so far, the game's really, really, really fun. I've managed to unlock all the different Clone Trooper skins, which I knew I had to do pretty much immediately, because yes. And there's so many cool character interactions in free play as well, because, well, when you're in free play, you can obviously play as any character.
Oh.
And there's one that broke my heart. Return of the Jedi Luke and Darth Vader.
Wow.
Luke, hello, father. Vader, hello, son. It's good to see you. My heart ripped in half.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I nearly cried.
It's both a good thing and a bad thing, then.
Yeah. And then the funniest one by far was Kylo Ren and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Kylo, come on, man, come on. You've dreamt about this your whole life. Be cool. And then Vader says, "Can I help you, boy?" That one literally made me laugh my head off.
Wow.
Because Kylo, of course, in the films, is a massive Darth Vader fanboy. Which I suppose is kind of weird, because he's also his grandfather. It's a weird one.
I mean, yeah.
Yet he despises Anakin Skywalker.
It's kind of like the situation where you hate the character but love the actor for like certain things.
Yeah, or the other way. Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, I can't wait to get to The Rise of Skywalker, because I admit, I have seen some stuff from it already.
Yeah.
And it looks really good.
Oh.
But there's something I'm really excited for as well, which I wasn't quite expecting. Yeah. Well, in the game, you can unlock the ship called the Ghost. Now, the Ghost was the main ship from Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, right.
Only trouble is, there's no Rebels characters in the game. They aren't even a DLC. They aren't even a DLC.
Oh,
yet.
Damn, that's weird. Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking, because like with the 20 DLC rumor that I mentioned a few months ago, that hasn't come to pass. But the same guy who made that leak also reported all the other stuff about the game perfectly accurately.
Okay, so if that has been quite accurate, I would say that they're quite trustworthy then.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, are they going to be announcing stuff as time goes along?
Who knows?
Because we know there's going to be a lot of Star Wars TV shows coming out this year, such as Book of Boba Fett, which actually doesn't have a DLC either, although they have got all the necessary characters in, pardon me, the Mandalorian Season 2 DLC.
All right.
So they don't really need one for the Book of Boba Fett.
True.
Literally everyone is there, so they don't really need one. So we got Book of Boba Fett crossed off already. Kenobi could get one because it's coming out only a few weeks after the game, bearing in mind.
Yeah.
We already have one for the Bad Batch, which tells me, well, yeah, like the Bad Batch was announced as a DLC, which tells me that the Clone Wars could be on its way potentially.
Makes sense.
And the reason I'm thinking that is because the clones that are in the game already from the prequels were voiced by the same voice actor that did them in the Clone Wars.
Oh.
And the Bad Batch, so you can't just tell me that they brought him back just to do the clones from the films. There is no way.
And then they do.
I would literally cry.
I believe that. I would believe that, though.
Good. But there's probably gonna be a Clone Wars DLC on the way, and now with the ghosts in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if Rebels joins in as well.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and then they'll probably do Kenobi, Ahsoka, depending on if there's any new characters added. And the Bad Batch will have already done that, so they don't really need to worry. But yeah, I think there's at least 2 or 3 more DLCs coming in character-wise. Could they do level packs? Possibly. Possibly.
What's something to consider?
Because the game's pretty damn big already, so I don't see why they wouldn't make it any bigger.
But at the same time, if the game's already big, try and add as much as they can in there. They might, if they had to add like any extra areas, they would have to do it in a way that wouldn't invade the original places that they've made.
True. I suppose they could do it as we're only going to include battles and events that have occurred on the planets we already have in the game.
But again, the issue would be if they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Then what might happen is they end up adding something in, and it looks more complete with the DLC than without.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see more character packs coming, definitely, but with level packs, they'd have to... I'm not sure. They'd have to put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
And they have said as well that they've made a new game engine for this game. But but given how difficult it was to use, this is the only game they're going to be using it on.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, are they either going to scrap it, or are they just going to get as much out of it as they can?
In knowing this sort of situation, they might try and, if they're going to get as much out of it as they can, then the DLC makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm thinking they're going to milk it for all they have, because they've not built a new game engine just to use it on one game and have it not be as complete as it could be.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of us were expecting Clone Wars, Rebels, because they were actually in the Force Awakens game, which is so far removed from their time periods. Whereas this game takes place partly directly in those time periods.
Yeah.
Because like the Force Awakens, that's about 34 years after Rebels and about 50 after the Clone Wars.
Damn.
Yeah, so like, and they still put DLC in for both of those shows. But with this one, the game takes place right through those time periods and nothing.
Wow.
Which is why a lot of people were quite surprised that they just haven't come up.
That
Which is why I'm
seems
thinking
bad.
that, yeah, which is why I'm thinking they're probably going to add them in at a later date. Because The Force
Honestly, I
Awakens.
honestly I do understand that.
Yeah, because The Force Awakens game was still getting DLC about 6 months after release.
Wow.
Like, it came out in about June 2016, and there was still DLC coming out for it round about Christmas.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I think that's going to give people a lot of hope that there could be some more DLCs on the way. I sincerely hope. Because that could at least cover all the shows coming out this year, like Kenobi, like Ahsoka, and the potentially Bad Batch Season 2 if there's any new characters added.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's well, actually, that's going to be it for the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga section of this stream because I've literally talked about everything I can talk about. So is there anything else you want to talk about this weekend?
Um, Not really. I've just moved back home, so I
Yeah,
can't think of much now.
fair enough. Any Pokemon news?
No, but there was a Nintendo Direct on. Yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct on Monday.
Oh, brilliant.
I hadn't checked it out fully, so if I were to give you a report on that, I would have to do that next week just
Oh,
to
all good.
I can clarify. But I didn't, from what I was looking at, there didn't seem to be anything there that would say that there was any Pokemon news. Although I have been
Ah,
playing
okay.
quite a bit of Pokemon today.
Oh,
Because with one of the, again, I've probably explained this on a different stream, but if for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, we need to complete all the main quests for Pokemon Arceus. And for Pokemon Arceus, the main quest includes catching all the Pokemon.
oh yeah.
And I've been doing that and completing their Pokedex entries, and that's been taking me quite a while.
Oh damn.
I've still yet to complete everything.
Eek.
I'm not even
Oh.
close enough to say that I'm near the game yet. Anywhere near, yes.
Oh God. Um. Oh, by the way, um, just wanted to hop in here because I've just remembered something. This weekend has been Star Trek Mission Chicago, the Star Trek
Ah,
convention, and there was some prop photos from Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And oh my
oh,
God, I love them. Um, there was another showcase of the uniforms, but we now have some new stuff, namely the phaser, the tricorder, and the communicator, and I love all of them.
I, oh, ah,
I shall actually send you pictures of each of them now
sure.
because they look honestly amazing. Um, Give me a second. Just gonna do some screenshots. That's the tricorder. And here is the communicator. Let me find you. And done. Boom.
Mm.
There they are.
Oh, oh, those look so cool.
I know. They've literally just updated the 60s designs, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Oh, those are great.
I know. I love them.
The detail on them too. That's actually quite clever.
Yeah, I especially like the communicator. Like, I'd say out of the three of them, the phaser and the communicator are definitely my favourites. Like, they've done those incredibly well. And I'm now stupidly hyped because that show literally starts in 1 minute. 5 weeks. No, 4 weeks. Wait, no. It's the 14th this Friday, 21st. Oh my god. Yeah, 4 weeks. I'm ready.
You sure?
Yep. Well, we'll see. Oh, and there was something else revealed at the convention as well.
Yeah.
We now finally know Spock's full name.
Oh.
After saying it was impronounceable in the original series to humans, which I think shows how cocky he was, because it's actually really easy. It's Sachun Tagai Spock.
Segunda Chai.
No, Sachun Tagai Spock. Not that hard.
I thought them the opposite way round.
Not that hard to pronounce, really, is it?
Not that hard. It's just remembering the order.
Yeah, it's not that hard. So I think that was just him underestimating how good humans were at linguistics.
Yes, but the thing is, there's at least a couple of national languages that do have those sort of sounds in them, so of course people will be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, after 56 years, we finally have Spock's full name.
Good job, Spock.
Wow. Never thought I'd see the day.
Well, there's always room there. Of course, you never know.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to talk about this week?
No, not particularly.
I can't think of anything much either. No. Shall we wrap this up then?
Yeah, sure. We'll put a little bow on it.
Yeah. Right. If you've been watching on stereo, thank you all for watching on here. If you're watching on YouTube on Monday or whenever, thank you for watching on there as well. If you're on stereo, don't forget to give me a follow here at Astounding Cameron. Or if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The sub button will be just below the title of the video. While you're there as well, check out the link tree in the description so you can check out all my social medias, including Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as stereo, because why not? Don't forget as well to follow Roxanne on her stereo at Roxo Rooney and her YouTube channel, Me Annette. Don't forget as well to check out Frost's Instagram and his YouTube channel, as well as Roxanne's website, and that's going to do it for this stream, unless...
Just a quick fact this time. Race car backwards is race car.
Yep.
And taco cat backwards is also taco cat.
Well. Suppose it is. And with that fun little fact, I shall say I'll see you all tomorrow with another YouTube video, and next week with another stream. Goodbye.
Bye.